Hello, San Diego. I'm Jeff Loeb, head of Marvel Television. Welcome to the best party you're going to attend while you're here. I'm talking to these people. Who's that? What just happened? Folks, every year we have a chance to come down here, and it's our way of really saying thank you to everyone that's here. The reason why Marvel Television has had the success that it's had as S.H.I.E.L.D. enters season 3. Carter goes to season 2. We're very, very grateful. But, you know, it's funny because I know that there are an awful lot of people who couldn't make it here today, and I'd like them to know, are there any Agent Carter fans here in the audience? I'm sorry. We really need to let people know. That was kind of like a whispery kind of thing. I know San Diego's greater than that. Are there any Agent Carter fans? I'm going to go on a limb because, you know, Agent Carter is the younger of the two shows. Are there any S.H.I.E.L.D. fans here? Only because there are some guests that are backstage, and I want to get to them, but just so that they know, if you're a Carter fan and a S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, could you say hello to everybody? Let's try it as a cheer, I think. Let's choose that instead. If you're a Carter and a S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, roar now! Thank you so much. As you know, these things don't happen without incredible partnerships. Our partners at Marvel Television are the wonderful people at ABC Network and also at ABC Studios. I would be completely not here if it were for people like Paul Lee and Jenny Dungy and Patrick Moran and my head of production, Jim Corey, and a big shout out to Momo and Dan Aykroyd, Dan Buckley, and Alan Fine, and the king of Comic-Con, somewhere in the audience is Joe Casano. And rather than having me just talk about Agent Carter, why don't we take a quick look at kind of the fun that we had in season 1. I'm very excited to announce that for those of you that like the music from Agent Carter and from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they will be being released, both series, this fall. And now I'm even more excited to tell you that these shows are made with so much love and so much care and some of the best writing that we've ever seen in television, and I'm very, very proud of our showrunners, and I'm going to bring them out now, and they are Chris Dingus, Tara Butters, and Sel Fazekas. Hello. Welcome.
Thank you.
You guys, of course, are not strangers to Comic-Con.
No. The first time we were here as panelists was on the pilot of Reaper.
Reaper fans out there?
I was conceived on the convention floor in 1973.
I I'm ashamed to say I was there. Not the conceiving part.
You like to watch.
You had to go with your opinion. The real challenge of season 1 was finding an actor that could personify someone who existed in comics for a very long time, and who also at the same time existed as a voice and is now played by a different actor. And what I can just tell you is that when we first sat down and decided that the person who was going to be following Agent Carter on her adventures was going to be Jarvis. We looked high, we looked low, and we all agreed that there was the right person for it if we could just get him, and that person is James Darcy. This is his first Comic-Con. He said that it was, we walked over, and of course they took us through the back way, the tunnels and stuff, and he turned to me and he said, this doesn't seem very crowded.
Yeah. I may have been wrong.
I'm very proud to say that you can't do Agent Carter without Agent Carter. It is our extraordinary pleasure every day to get to work with Eliana. There are 2 other people who are very important to the show who could not make it. They're off making a little movie called Captain America Civil War. And that would be Kevin Feige and Lou D'Esposito. This is the one show that Marvel Television makes with Marvel Studios. Louis has been one of the champions of this. He directed the short, he directed the pilot, and I can honestly tell you that I don't know that any of us would be here without Louis championing it all the way. So a big thank you to Louis, and a big shout out to everybody out there. So guys, welcome to Comic-Con. This is a little different than the last time we did this when no one really knew who we were. And I guess I'll just start out with talking to Michelle and Chris. What's it like having a little 8 episodes that suddenly the world is talking about?
I remember walking through, I think the Marriott last year with you, and telling Haley, you're never going to be able to do this again, just so you know. And it is kind of amazing to see, to kind of walk around with her, and everybody kind of gets all excited, and it's so cool to see all the cosplay that I've seen of her.
I have to say the fan art.
Our buys everything on it. Literally everything.
If there's fan art, you've been put it up for sale like product. It's probably bought it. But I just love that expression of the fans and how they love the show.
And I'm really happy because we love it so much, and I really wanted people to like it, and I'm glad.
It's the best job we've ever had.
Oh,
That's amazing.
me too.
So when we started out the hunt for Jarvis, James, you had some questions. I think I was going to go with misgivings, but you certainly had to sort of know, as an actor, how to play this part. Can you talk a little bit about, when you first started out, when you first got a call from us and we all said, come play, please come play?
I was slightly worried because in the pilot, Jarvis is making a souffle, and I can't actually make a souffle. I was worried that I would be required to actually do. Any of you who've made a souffle will know it's a complex process, and you've got to time it just right. So my apprehension mainly revolved around souffle making, and I can do a perfect spotted dick. That's an English pudding. But I'm not so good at the souffles. So we had a long conversation about that, and then they explained to me what acting is.
What's great though is that no one's ever played an English butler before, so this was a new thing for you.
I'm treading very new territory here. And actually, the thing that really sold it to me was when Michelle and Tara and Chris and Jeff said to me, "Oh no, but he's going to be with her on the missions." And I said, "Oh great, so there's going to be some fighting," and they went, "Yeah, Haley's going to be doing a lot of fighting." And I said, "And Jarvis will be behind her doing some fighting," and they went,
That's how Chris actually talks. Just like,
and having read the script, it was so funny what they had already written for Jarvis, and I've never actually had an opportunity to do anything comedic on film before, and I wasn't at all sure that I could do it, but it turns out...
you guys think that you can do it?
It turns out I just had to be my usual Wally of a self, and it would work out just fine.
You actually brought up something that I should also mention, was that you read the first script, and that script was written by two of our other executive producers that we're also very lucky to have, and that's Chris Marcus and Stephen Feely. They also got me here because having written Captain America: The First Avenger and having written Captain America: The Winter Soldier, they have just finished writing and are on the set at Captain America: Civil War. Just have a little bit of pedigree here, a little bit that we're very proud of. Speaking of very proud of, Haley Atwell. Aside from being the only person I'd let take my hat, tell us about Peggy. Like, you've now played Peggy. You've played Peggy in 2 features, a short, and 8 episodes, soon now to be 10 more episodes. What is it about that character that takes you off the big screen and into our halls?
I think, first of all, the quality of the writing, and it was very clear in the script that, we'd seen aspects of Peggy in the first Avenger, but in this show in particular, there were so many nuances of character, and she was dynamic and resourceful and fun and sexy and vulnerable, and all these qualities that I really enjoy playing. And so I jumped at the chance to do it for the very reason that also I'd known the Marvel team for 5 years and loved them dearly. And she's just kind of taken over my life in such an amazing way. She's quite fearless, and I often find when I'm having moments of kind of doubting what I'm doing, I think that she just goes for it. So she can thrust herself into situations with such kind of wild abandonment that I love that opportunity. So it's changed my life. Yeah.
True story. We had the script, and we had his interest, but it's always a challenge when you have someone and you want to make sure that they're coming on board. And she came into the Marvel offices and went through our little quiet security, because as you know, there is no Marvel security. Actually, I'm hoping that no one here is actually recording anything, because you're not going to leave here alive. And we need to keep your phone, and it's bad. So don't do that. Anyway, and so you went in, I remember you went into a little locked room with a script which she then had to give back as soon as she was done reading. And you had sort of the most amazing reaction, because you went in with like all these questions, like you were prepared to like grill us.
Yeah,
you go,
I was.
well, do you think you could is it, and then what happened when you came out? Yeah, that's how we talk.
I really hoped that, you know, the writers would get her right. I was really adamant about that. And I just read the script the first time and just came out, and I think I just went, oh, she's amazing! And I had nothing to say but compliments. It was, I just think, you know, we were also working with a group of such talented and skillful writers. It's all on the page, and it feels like you just have to turn up and say the lines, and all the work's kind of done for you. So I've been very lazy, actually.
And can I add to that, actually, that you know, a show that is set in the 40s so requires some period dialogue, but also with two of the main characters being English, that's an extraordinary skill that quite a lot of British writers wouldn't be able to pull off, to write period English dialogue. And you guys, our writers have just so beautifully come up with words that I would never dare to use. You know, and they found these fantastic period dialogues for us, and
Hello!
like that.
I am told that we can open the floor to some Q&A. Is there a thing and a thing?
Oh, there it is.
Thank you.
Haley, I'm Haley.
So I guess I start with the guy in the Captain America shirt. Look at that, you have like a little television and everything. That's awesome.
My name is DJ. My question is for Haley Atwell. Do you feel that your character's decision to pour out Captain America's blood at the end of the season was right, even though Steve was the only one to survive or volunteer for Operation Rebirth?
Yeah, I do think it was absolutely the right decision, because she'd been holding on to him the whole season, not really being able to move on. She was grieving him, and I think by the end of the season she'd grown, and it was her way of getting closure and letting him go, and it was a burial for her in a way. I think also she was just concerned that if it had got into the wrong hands, then someone would have used that power, and I think keeping him alive through the work that she was doing and the memory of him served him better. But I think it also makes it more bittersweet and just makes for a better story.
And we shot that on the Brooklyn Bridge in New York, didn't we?
Yeah.
If you guys want to talk at all, that's actually one of our big partners in the show is ILM. And you guys have heard of ILM? So do you want to talk a little bit about how helpful that is and how we built all of this?
This is one of the benefits of working with Marvel, is that people want to go into business with Marvel. And so ILM has obviously done a bunch of work for the Marvel feature side, had never done it. And I think we're a little hesitant about doing it for a lot less money and a lot less time, but they were such fans of the material. I've actually worked on a lot of different shows that use visual effects. And it's some of the best work I've ever seen. You actually went up and visited them.
Yes, it was amazing to get a tour of ILM and see movies and stuff that you've seen growing up and see the assets there. But the amazing thing for us was when you're having to build a city, they have 30 years worth of assets they were able to call on in their library and rejigger for us to help make New York City come to life, which was a big part of our show.
We have another question.
Hi, this question is for Haley. I wanted to know what your favorite line from the show was that you feel like summed up the themes of the show, because I know my value line was pretty awesome.
Well, everyone knows the line that defined Peggy, and it's something that has kind of touched a lot of people that I've met at conventions over the world in the last few months, but it's, I know my value. Anyone else's opinion doesn't really matter. And that's, I think, for me, something that she discovers over time, and that she doesn't need praise from anyone, because she has determination and purpose, and she's kind of living out her destiny, and with the support of the right people around her. And it's been amazing going to these conventions and meeting, especially young people, young boys and girls coming up to me going, I know my value too! This melts my heart. It's so humbling, and I think that's kind of that's what gives Peggy in the first season real depth. She's a very independent spirit, but then at the same time, there's that wonderful scene that I love where Jarvis is talking to her, saying, "Can't run away from people that are trying to help you. And you realize in that moment that he sees her vulnerability, and that in putting up this wall from having lost Steve, she's scared of letting other people in. And Jarvis is the person, kind of like a kind of kindred spirit, who's gently tapping on the shoulder to tell her that she's not alone. So I think he has some pretty fabulous lines too.
I'd be remiss. There is, in the show, there is a Captain America radio show, and there's somebody on this panel who does one of the voices. Take us back to the 1940s, would you?
Welcome to the Captain America Adventure Hour!
Now, guys, we're season 2, something new. Where are we off to?
We are off to Hollywood.
So we're in the 1940s. We're still in the same time, and we're moving everybody sort of lock, stock, and barrel off to sunny California.
In a sense, it's 1947, so we're saying about 6 months after the show ended, and things are different. We'll start, and we'll see people are in different positions, and people are actually, not everyone is in New York anymore, and there's some history that we're not quite sure, and some people aren't talking to each other anymore, and then Peggy will get called to Los Angeles to help investigate a murder. 47 Los Angeles was the same year as the Black Dahlia murder. So we really love the idea of the sort of glamour of old Hollywood and the sort of classic sort of film noir grit and crime in Los Angeles. So we're kind of really having fun. And the stories that it's just changing the location generate such great stories and great interaction between the characters.
And are we leaving dear Jarvis home? Does he get to come along?
Jarvis is actually already there. He's been there helping Howard Stark set up his new estate in Beverly Hills. He's doing some contract work for the government, and just as a hobby decided to open a movie studio.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, I might not be able to answer.
Am I going to get to meet my wife?
He might get to. I'm not sure you guys get to. Look at, we got stuff here. What do we got? Another question? It's the best cosplay ever. Let's just say how much fun we have.
Hi, my name is Chella.
My name is Zoe.
My name is Adrian.
And I'm Julie.
And we have a question about season 2. So we're wondering if we'll see any historical people or places, and what will we see about Peggy's life after Captain America in terms of relationships?
Well, Abraham Lincoln won't be in the show.
Historic places, I would say. You know, we're hopefully. I mean, we're talking about sort of really iconic Los Angeles places that haven't really changed much since the 40s. So if we can do it, we'll choose their famous people. Really, I tend to try not to.
Movie stars and
Yeah, no, I don't know. No actual historic. No plan for actual historic figures, but.
Until just now.
And then will we see? I would say that Peggy has put Steve's sort of memory to rest and has a couple of new opportunities. She's aboard. No.
And I think on that, we have still more show for you. I very much would like to thank Chris, Tara, Michelle,